Hey guys, this is Bhagat, and today we're going to be doing a video commentary. And this painting has been previously recorded, and I'm just adding my commentary on top of it. So this was a commission that I did for a client whose father had passed away, and he basically wanted a portrait for the ceremony that comes after the funeral. So before we started the painting, we did 4 sketches. I did 4 sketches for him, and we basically selected one sketch for the final painting. So I took the sketch and then I just basically colored it in to see what it would look like, and then he said, this is good, and then I started working on it. And so that I'm gonna show you guys what I did step by step to develop the portrait. So right away I get into the rendering of it, and I start with the nose, because nose is one of the most important features in a face, and it's important to get these things perfect when you're painting a portrait of a person who is a real life person, whether they've passed away or not. And you're not just painting from a photo, you're actually trying to paint what this person looked like in real life. That's what you're trying to paint. And so whenever I start a portrait, I always get a whole bunch of photos from different angles, with different expressions and all that stuff, to make sure I get a good understanding of how this person might have looked like if they were still alive. And that's important because the people who know this person associate them with the real life face, and you're just looking at a photo, and so it's not a good idea to just copy the photo exactly. It's a better idea to understand the person's facial structure, and to understand how they are being perceived by their relatives and family members, to then paint the portrait. So I'm going in here, I'm just sculpting the face, adding in a bit of stubble, right? Working on the lips, making sure the lips are good, making sure the chin is good. And I'm lighting this from the top right hand corner, so light is coming in from the top right hand corner, so the bottom left hand corner is going to be in shadow completely. Hopefully after watching this video, you'll have a better understanding of how to paint a portrait. So when I select photos for a portrait, I always select at least 5 or 6 good photos, and then I have a whole bunch of photos that are just random, that are just casually taken. This helps to actually make the portrait better, because like I said, this person has to appear like they did in real life. So when you're working from a bunch of photos, you get that information. You see them, you see their face in different poses, you see their face making different kinds of expressions, and that helps to define the face, I think, more accurately than just copying a photo. So here I'm working on the chin, making sure that that shadow is good underneath the chin. Right, this area was a little bit tricky, that cheek, because he just had this strong jaw, and then he had the muscles underneath the skin were such that it would create that kind of a structure. So it was just tricky to do that part. So I'm just comparing with how it looked like before, comparing the new painted features to the features that were painted before, to see how they match up. And on the side, I have all this reference open, all these photos opened up, and I'm just looking at them, and I'm just painting based on what I see. So the face has 3 different color zones, basically. It's got this sort of reddish, a reddish zone in the middle of the face, near the nose, the cheeks, because these portions of the face tend to have more blood They tend to, when you blush, right, your cheeks go all pink. When you have a cold, your nose becomes all red. So these areas tend to have a little bit more blood than the other areas. So they're going to be a little bit more red. And of course your lips are going to be more red because your lips have more blood. And so that's one zone, which is going to be reddish. The other zone, which is the chin, is going to be slightly more gray. Right? Sometimes you might want to add some green tones to it. You might want to add some blue tones to it, some gray tones, and that's going to give you the colors that you get if somebody shaves. You'll notice that that part of the skin looks kind of gray. It might look kind of green. So when you're painting it, you want to get those colors in there. You want to make sure that you're adding in the green, the grays, in those regions, in those correct regions. And this is why having multiple photos helps, because in different photos you'll see those regions. You know, if you want to see this in yourself, just take photos of yourself and look at the colors, how they're distributed throughout your face. So I talked about the three zones of the face. The center zone, the nose and the cheeks and the lips, are going to be more red. They're going to have a little bit more red in them, a little bit more pink. They're going to be pinkish, reddish. Below that you have the chin, which is going to be grayish and greenish. And this is, so here, look, I'm adding the pink in the nose. I'm adding it underneath the nose. And the chin is going to have more gray, more green because of the beard, because of stubble. Even in women, it's going to be slightly cooler. It's not going to be as red as the cheeks and the nose or the lips, even in women. Because women do have some hair there, so you still get that cool kind of greenish, bluish kind of tint. And the third zone is the forehead, which is going to be slightly yellow. It's not going to be as red. It's not going to be cool. It's going to be in the middle. You know, the forehead doesn't have hair. Right? You know, you might have hair with the eyebrows. So as you can see, the eyebrows do have some green and some blue kind of tints to them. But the rest of the forehead is going to be mostly kind of yellow, brownish. It's not going to have the red and the green or the blue tints. Each part of the face is very important when you're painting a portrait, especially a close-up portrait. You know, if you were painting a person in a larger picture, then maybe you could be a little bit more careless in painting the portrait. But when you're painting the close-up, when you're painting a close-up of a person, you have to be very careful with every little aspect of their face. And it's always great to have the eyes slightly squinted. Right, as you can see here, the eyes are just a little bit squinted. This helps to make the person seem more relaxed, more confident, more chilled out. And it's great when you're painting a portrait to have the eyes like that. They look really good, no matter what race. It could be any race. They would look good with the eyes slightly, just chilled out, right? Narrow, slightly narrow eyes, just a little bit, just squinting just a little bit. So you see I have the gray and the green tones in the eyebrows. And wherever you're going to have hair, you're going to have those cool tones. And wherever you're going to have, especially shaved hair, it's going to have that greenish sort of look to it. If you gotta, when you're painting, you have to pay attention to real life. And whenever you're out about in your daily life, just look at how people look. Just stare at them, make them feel uncomfortable. But yeah, I mean, just pay attention to how they look and how they're, what kind of colors do they have on their face. Try to look at people who are not wearing makeup, because makeup when people wear makeup, they tend to exaggerate the colors. So it will give you a better understanding. Makeup will give you a better understanding, but it could also be problematic. Try to look at people who don't have makeup, and you'll see the natural colors on the face. I think people look pretty beautiful already, I think, even without painting on their face. But so I added this light kind of light gray on the right side of his face, and that's going to help make his face seem a little bit more 3D, because there is a light source kind of behind him, right? The light background. I'm counting the background as a light source, because you have one light source, which is the main light that's shining on him, and the other light source is actually the background itself. And so this I'm actually constructing. I'm constructing this secondary light source, this tertiary light source, which is that highlight underneath the nose, right? Just above the shadow, you have a highlight. And in order to make the nose look more 3D, more kind of more defined, you're going to have a highlight, and then it's going to go into shadows, and then just as it's going into shadows, it's going to start going into lights again, and that is the reflection of other objects reflecting onto the tip of the nose. And just underneath that, you're going to have the shadow. So it's very, very important to actually practice these things before you paint. It's a good idea to have a good handle on the nose, the lips, the eyes, and the chin, the cheeks. All of these things are very important. So the wrinkles there that you see near the eyes, that's going to help make him appear more cheerful, right? Like when somebody's smiling or when somebody's happy, they're not just smiling with their mouth, right? They're actually smiling with their whole face. So it's important to understand how the face changes when somebody smiles, right? You'll see that when they smile, their lips widen, the lips narrow a little bit. You'll see that their cheeks get pulled up, right? You'll see that their nose may become wider when they smile, and people also smile with their eyes. So the eyes are going to also, have that a squinted look, and they're also going to have these wrinkles. These, I think they're called crow's feet, at the very edges, edges of their eyes, and it's important to add that in because that is what's going to sell the smile, right? That's going to show the person, the viewer of the painting, that this person is smiling. So I just paint the hair and correct it. So unfortunately, I couldn't get the recording of the hand. When I was painting the hand, I think may have forgotten to record it. So I don't have that. But I think that's pretty much the portrait. At this point, I just do the final touches and work on his suit, his tie, his shirt, and all that. Unfortunately, I didn't get any of that recorded, so this is going to be the recording right now. It's going to end here. I'll show you what the final painting looks like, and if I have any thoughts on that, I'll just share them. Alright, here we go. So this is the final portrait, what it looks like after the hand is complete, after the suit is complete, and after all the final touches have been made. And I keep all those things simple in comparison to the face. So the face gets the most amount of detail, it gets the most amount of contrast, the most amount of color. Everything else is kept simple compared to the face. So the background is simple, and the suit and the hand and the tie and the shirt is relatively simple compared to the face. This is so the face is the main focal point. You want the viewer to look mostly at the face, and you want to give most of your time to the face. So it helps. It not only helps to create create focus on the face, but you'll also save some time, and you don't have to detail the rest of the peripherals as much. Alright guys, that's it for this episode. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I have a lot more videos in the making, and I do want to share them. So stick around, and I'll see you guys later.